All right. So I wanted to ask y'all a question. Like, who do y'all think is actually going to probably survive between like Stefano and I guess this new mob boss named Phil Russo? And because in the earlier trailer we got where Stefano is asking Marvin to beat up some guy Tommaso because I guess he's treating his daughter wrong, or he's treating her bad, or whatever he's doing to her, and he's asking Marvin to handle this because he's like, Marvin is a true professional after what he did with the whole Sal's business where he took care of Sal in Newark. So, and it had me thinking because I was like, we know that Kanan has problems with the Italians and he doesn't like the Italians as much, but it makes me think like, is this like, I understand like this is a prequel, so we're getting like I guess bits and pieces of maybe his reasons as to why he's probably hating the Italians. Seeing how in season 2 where Rock almost got murked, she almost got murked by one of them, and then I guess maybe with the stuff that Stefano is having Marvin do, like these odd jobs, like, oh, I need you to take care of this person because he can't do it, or he can't send his men to do it because they're made guys. So, and it's a common thing that within the Italian world where they always done this, where they don't have one of their guys doing it because it's like, oh, he's a made guy, so they would get an outsider to do it to make it seem like they had nothing to do with it at all, but they basically sanctioned the hit. So it's like all of this stuff that's happening to like Marvin right now, it just makes us think that is his death imminent in this season because he's being more exposed to a lot of things. A lot of things is he's being more exposed to, like, oh, I need you to do this, oh, I need you to do that, and then it's only a matter of time until they like they're gonna link him to like, oh, the Thomas family. Like, wait, what? Like, he's linked to Rock, so it's like, oh, like, what's going on? So, and it makes me think too, like, will there be another Italian war that might break out with like this guy like Phil Russo? Because we don't know nothing about the character yet, because we haven't seen the episodes yet, but once we do, we're gonna get more into like his character. Like, okay, how is he more ruthless than Stefano? Is he more aware than Sal? Is he, like, what is the guy gonna be like, and what's gonna most likely happen to like Marvin's character at the end? But I think all of this is just gonna set up more and more as to why like Kanan hates the Italians, because we seen in the trailer too where Stefano was explaining something to, I guess, Kanan about like, famous last words or whatever. So we don't know what that's gonna intake about, but we do know there's gonna probably not be something good. But Stefano has his hands too much into the Thomas family, and it makes me think like, will Rock get rid of Stefano at some point? Like, will she get rid of him because he's I understand like they all work together, but it just makes me think like, I don't know, like maybe at some point in time, like, I don't know, like maybe Stefano is maybe too much of a liability, maybe too much of a risk at some point, and be like, maybe he has to go. And then something about, I guess, like maybe Phil Russo, if he's like the new crime boss of New Jersey. Now, we don't know if he actually stepped up, because when Sal died, like, we don't know if he stepped up, or he's just like a new crime boss in New Jersey, or something, because sometimes it's like that with like crime families, where if one person goes to prison, then another head would take over, and then they're in charge of the family business, and then something would happen to like that person, and then somebody else would like take over. So we don't know if he's actually taken over for Sal, or he's just entirely new, like he's entirely different, and he's probably going to be aware of like certain things, because maybe he could be aware of maybe aware of Stefano. He'll be aware of Stefano, like maybe Stefano we have yet to have seen like a full-on Italian war. Like, we've yet to have seen like, okay, like two Italians basically like going at it, and it's insanely crazy, like, but we haven't quite seen that yet, like a full-on sanction war. Because the thing about like the Italian family, I guess they try to like keep things cordial, like everybody stays on their own turf, nobody touch nobody else's guys. It depends on, though, it really depends on, because we do know that in the past, like, Italian families was like going like head to head, like war against each other. Like, we do know stuff like that actually happened in the past. But again, like, we just gonna have to wait and see what Phil Russo is gonna be doing, and if there will be any sort of like connection between like maybe Unique, like will Unique getting like find his way into the mix, and he gets involved with like another Italian family. But I think which is gonna like separate everybody from everybody is basically Kanan, because eventually like Kanan will do his own thing, but I think it's gonna be away from like the Italian business. Because let's go back from like season, like probably like one, like probably like season one, like when everybody was like doing their own thing. But then that's when like the Italian stuff came up in season two, because when Unique was in prison, and that's when he helped out Marco. And then that's when Marco told Sal about it, like, this guy basically helped me out while they was in prison together. So that's when Sal was like, all right, I'm gonna put this guy on. And ever since then, it's just been like a whole roller coaster, like with the Italians, which is why it makes sense as to why, Kanan in the future is just like, I can't deal with these people. Like, you can't fully trust them, because maybe something happened where the Italians got Marvin killed, because we looking at Unique. We looking at Unique to be in the one that, whoa, maybe he actually kills even Marvin or Lulu. But what if, being like Marvin is involved with the Italian business, that maybe something happens where somebody puts the hit out on Marvin and then he gets killed. It wasn't the first time. Wasn't the first time that Marvin almost got killed by an Italian. So what if that's probably like a looming threat for Marvin, in the case where it could be something that he's involved with, and they most likely put a hit out and he dies, and then it stirs up the whole thing where Kanan hates the Italians, and then this would probably start off a dark Jukebox, like where Jukebox's not heel turn, her dark turn actually starts, and then that's when she becomes like this vicious person that even Ghost was a fear of at one point in his time. But again, a lot of stuff, I can't wait to see what they're gonna probably do, and the type of corners that they're gonna play, because I'm telling you, like season four is shaped to be quite interesting, because Kanan and I guess Rock might be business partners, because in the trailer as well, she was like, well, I can understand if you don't like me or hate me or whatever, but I gotta trust my business partners. And it's like, oh shit. But comment down below what you guys think about, I guess, the potentials of who might actually survive, who might actually die, and if something does happen to like Marvin's character because he was involved with the Italian world, and somebody did put a hit out on him, and is not Unique, the one that actually kills Marvin, maybe, then what is Rock gonna potentially do? Like, how is she gonna handle maybe the death of her brother, because he again, like being involved with the Italian world. But it wasn't just like him, they both was involved with it, because again, like she was the one that's saying, well, I can put out the hit and have Marvin do it, because at the time Lulu was in commission, because he was all types of fucked up, so Marvin had to do it. But it just makes me wonder, like, if this is the path that they're going to choose of, they still being involved with the Italian world, and they're going to have to try to figure out how to not be involved with them as much, and then kind of like do their own thing. Because so far, as I said before, we haven't seen the Serbs. So I think for this story they're telling, it's more of the Italians, some street stuff, and then obviously like the FBI, because Special Agent Tanner, we still have to see what the stry on that with him and Stefano, because if Stefano is a snitch, if he is informant or whatever, then Stefano will have to go at some point, because he knows too much. He knows way too much. So again, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But comment down below like what you guys think, and like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I catch you all in the next one.